We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And it is Friday, and you know what Friday means. It is Relationship Q&A Day. This is what we do, Relationship Q&A. And so we're in part four of Why I Cheated. We're going to continue that conversation today, but we want to merge it with your questions to make sure that we're meeting you exactly where you're at. You've been asking questions throughout the course of the week, but this is the day that we reserve for that conversation. Are you excited about today?
I'm really excited. I love it when we get an opportunity to actually dial into all the questions and just shoot one after another, answer the question. But I want to make sure that I welcome everybody to the show today. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification bell. You will not miss a show if you do that. And then when you come on, just let us know who you are and where you're from so we can acknowledge you on the second half of the show.
Listen, Audacity of Marriage, June 15th through the 17th. We're going strong. And it's your opportunity to get involved. If you haven't registered, just click the link in the description below to find out more about it. It's going to be a phenomenal time. We've been talking about it for the last few days. You need to sign up. It is only $297 per couple. What are you waiting for?
You don't want to gnash your teeth and be tearing your clothes off and putting ashes on your forehead because you missed it. People will tell you, you don't want to miss a Couples Academy event. We always do a stellar job, don't we?
We do.
We do a stellar job, and people will come on here and tell you. You can go on our YouTube channel and hear testimony after testimony. You'll see pictures and videos. You want to be a part of this, so make sure you register. It's chump change. It's coffee money. Make sure you do it.
Now, make sure you do what? Like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't done that, we want you to share this message with everyone in your community. But do you share it in your own household with your spouse? That's the question. That's what we want you to begin to do so that you can have some meaningful, courageous conversations. Now, many of you know about the workday. The workday is when you come together with your partner and you talk about the difficulties in your relationship in a safe environment. And this would be a great time to do it, watching one of these videos and unpacking some stuff that you're going through. You want to acknowledge the people? You want to say something?
Sorry.
I gotta manage everything. I got this over here, this over there. I gotta cue the music and the videos. I gotta do it all.
You see how Sonny threw that on me, right? He didn't have nothing else to say. Do you know that we already welcomed everybody? Did you get that part of the show?
Let's go to point number one.
Y'all know, right? Y'all know he was tuned out when I welcomed y'all, and also already told y'all to like, share, and subscribe.
Come on now. We going to point number one. Point number one, guys. Many people cheat because they're looking for a way out in their minds. And we talked about this yesterday. They believe that the relationship is over, it's dead. And, there's some people who rather not, because they want to control the narrative, they rather not be the one to initiate the divorce. They will do things intentionally to force their spouse's hand.
That's real.
Right? So they will disconnect. They will be rude and aggressive. They will be physically violent. And some people will even engage in an affair and not be sloppy about it, be intentional about it to put it on full display. Awesome. Like they will let their partner know that they're doing it either by telling them or allowing things to be seen and discovered that quickly give it away. Right. And that's their way of saying, I'm done, I'm out, you pull the trigger.
Because they don't want to be direct about it. And I see this a lot, that you don't want to come right out and say, I want a divorce, because for many reasons you don't want to be the one to do it, or you don't want to be the one to break it off. But you're saying you want to stay, but everything that you're doing indicates that you don't. You start separating your finances. You start separating when you eat. You have your own room now. Like you're literally moving out and separating under the same roof, but yet you keep saying that you don't want a divorce. But what you're doing is indicating to me something very different. And so that is somebody that has an issue with being direct and upfront with you for many reasons. It could be that they have a fear of you, or they feel that you're a more powerful person. You know, this goes into personality styles. There are certain personality styles that are more docile, laid back, and less confrontational. They just want to keep the peace.
Yes.
And by doing that, they just bury their head in the sand about things and they don't confront. And so you have to kind of read the signs to know what's going on, because they're never going to tell you.
That is so true. We even have couples where literally a person will just get up and leave and be gone. We're talking 2-3 days, no phone call, no text. The other person's panicking. They don't know what to think. Are you dead somewhere in a ditch? Are you with another person doing the wrong thing in the wrong place? They just have no clue. And then they come back like nothing ever happened. Right. They just come and go. There's just zero connection.
Right. Or they have this belief like, I'm grown, I don't have to answer to you.
I can do what I want to do.
Right. Midlife crisis comes into play. That comes to my mind when I think about folks getting to a certain age.
Let's just go to it.
Is that one of the points?
Really, Daniel? Really, folks? See what we doing today?
He know good well I didn't know what his points were. Stop playing.
Go ahead, make the point.
Stop playing with
Go to the point.
Go to your point.
Go to it. Talk about the midlife crisis. I think I'm having one right about now.
Midlife crisis comes into play. Midlife crisis comes into play because you get to a certain age, many people do, where they feel like they have not lived their best life. They've lived they've beat or moved by the drum of other people's beat. By the beat of other people's drum.
You want some of that coffee over there?
Can we go to a break?
Wait a minute.
Anyway, y'all know exactly what I'm trying to say. And so you're in crisis, and now you're done listening to people. You're done living by other people's rules. You're going to live by your rules. And this is when people start making irresponsible decisions with the money and the things that they do, because, hey, I don't know how long I have to live. People have died all around me. I'm going to do me. And that's another thing that happens.
That's right. The midlife crisis is an identity crisis.
Yeah.
And that's when people... Think about it. There's all types of behaviors that people engage in when they reach middle age, right? They start to consider, am I in the right career? They start to consider, have I lived life? Do I what experiences do I want to now have? I got to get that fancy, race car. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to have my bucket list. And for some people who feel like they've been trapped in a relationship that has been loveless and passionless, they're like, you know what? I need to live my best life, so they think, and I'm going to go out and have fun, and regardless of the consequences, I don't care. I've gotten to the point where I just don't care about what other people think. I have all these expectations. I have all these responsibilities on me, but I'm gonna do me. And so there's a self-centeredness, a narcissism. There's all types of things that happen in that case. And oftentimes infidelity is one of the number one things that people jump into during this particular time. Now, this is the midlife crisis, but there's also another point, and that is people cheat because of emotional immaturity, right? These are individuals who have a biological age. They may be in their 30s or 40s or 50s, and let's go into their 60s. Hey, we have clients in their 70s. Oh, yes, we do. But there's an internal age, right? That internal age is that 18-year-old boy, that 21-year-old girl, and they're trying to live out a lifestyle that they've far past in years, in decades, but something within them draws out this lack of responsibility, childishness. I just want to be free. I want to escape from my normal everyday reality and have fun and do me.
Wow, that's interesting. It makes me think of like delayed developmental maturity. Like they never did mature in those things, and some of them maybe are late bloomers, late to success, late to something, or something hindered them as a young person. I mean, I think about trauma that happens in our lives, and that's why we have to go back to the trauma to heal that place so that we can move forward. We truly can't move forward until we go back and deal with those broken places, right? And so you're stuck there. And now what you've got options in front of you, and you start to act on that, and it is immature because you're not weighing the consequences. And sometimes the choices that we're making, the consequences far outweigh the momentary pleasure, but you don't think that way because you don't have the maturity to do so.
That's right. Phenomenal book, Emotional Intelligence and Emotional Intelligence 2.0. If you've never heard of it, look it up. If you've never read it, read it. And it talks about how to deal with these emotions that you have. I think the reality is most people don't know how to process things, don't know how to go through things, and they rely on all types of bad decisions and bad coping mechanisms to deal with their feelings and emotions. And we're going to talk about that. Listen, guys, we have 2 more segments, but we're about to jump into the questions. So make sure, Post your questions right now. Anything you want to know about the affair, about what you're going through, about what you've done, post it right now. We're about to go to a quick break. Stay right there. See you
We'll be right back.
in a second. Yeah, there's.
On here.
Who?
You bet.
Couples Academy is expanding its team to meet the growing demand of people in need of help around the world. So if you're a trained, licensed, or certified expert in marriage enrichment, infidelity recovery, sex therapy, life coaching, cognitive behavioral therapy, divorce mediation, financial coaching, or family therapy, contact us today.
Welcome back, everybody. You are watching the Couples Academy show, and what you just witnessed was the last Audacity of Marriage conference, and as you can see, those couples were having a blast. You know, we spend a lot of time working with couples who are in crisis, but we have a 97% success rate with our couples, and so that means that they got better. And so these retreats are made to have a great time, to experience adventure together, to hug on, to love on, and to learn new ways to continue to move forward. And that's what you witnessed there.
Pause right there. Pause right there.
Yeah.
Pause right there. 97% success rate. That's something to think about for a second, because a lot of people go to counselors and therapists and practitioners and feel like, it wasn't for me. It didn't work. Nothing really happened. Nothing really came out of it. They didn't really have the experience. They were only 20 something years old. They weren't married. They're really a health practitioner, and they're dealing with relationships. And so sometimes we're seeking the right advice from the wrong people. And you need to go with people who can meet the need that you have, who have the answer and the solution to your problem or your question. And that's what Couples Academy is for. And so when you come to us, we will take your situation seriously and guide you through a journey to get you to a destination that you never thought was even possible, because you've lost hope. You're ready to give up, caving and quit, throwing the towel, but there is still an opportunity for you to get out of your marriage what you desire. And that's why we do what we do. So whether it's a retreat, whether it's an intensive, we have a couple flying in literally an hour from another state to do a 3-day deep dive.
That's
so
right.
if that's you, make sure you go to our website, couplesacademy.org, and set up a discovery call so we can talk more about it.
Absolutely. So let's welcome our family. I want to make sure that I talk to some people today. Ladidra from Dallas, Texas. Cat Tom from New Jersey. That's my hometown, New Jersey. Tiffany Mason from Dallas. We've got Brandon from Oklahoma. We've got Ralph from Ohio. We got a lot of Ohio. We got my cousin Yvette in the house. I haven't seen you in a while, Yvette. I'm glad to see you on here.
Hey,
She's
Yvette.
all the way in Indiana. Torre, you know we love to see you. Okay, so thank you, Lene, for explaining how to say it. Lene Renee. She says it said like Renee. I have a daughter whose middle name is Lene. I spelled it a little different. That's why I wasn't catching it. So I got you. And Lene is from Illinois. Who else we got in here? Vashawn Edmondson from Chicago. Cheryl, good morning. Hey, Jeff. That's our brother. That's
Jeff,
our brother in
what's
New
going on,
Jersey.
bro?
We can't wait to see you coming up this next holiday. Babawa, I haven't seen you in so long, and I'm so happy to see you. Babawa, I met her her, was it 2, maybe almost 3 years ago now, at our women's retreat. And she came all the way from, I think, South Africa. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Babawa.
Yeah.
But we were so excited to host you, and you're just a beautiful person, and we love you. So we hopefully when we get another retreat going, we'll see you again.
Yep.
Franklin, Carol, and JD Pruitt. I can't miss my brother JD. JG, I see you down there. Camille, Mary, welcome. Oh, Camille's from Jamaica. I gotta call that out. Mary from Qatar. Gotta call that out. People are joining in from all over the world.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's jump into these questions. We got a bunch for us. I'm going to click on the first one here. It says, do people who cheat know how difficult it is for the partner to heal from effects of infidelity? It sucks. I would say overwhelmingly no. Most people have no clue. You know, it's interesting. When people do decide not to cheat, one of the reasons why they decide not to do it is they say, man, I just never knew it would cause this much pain. And I'm just like, really?
Right.
Like, you never consider the consequences. You never consider what impact it would have. I think, you know, at the core of it, infidelity is really self-centered. It's selfish. You think less about what it may do to the other person and more about what it's doing for you. And so when the reality hits and they're in agonizing pain and they're crying and sobbing or enraged and they're breaking and smashing things, the person who was involved in the affair is just like, what in the world? Like, she's crazy or he's crazy. But those are the impacts that happen when you do what you do. There's an excruciating pain.
Yeah.
We've heard people say it feels like they're having a cardiac arrest. Like, literally, it's hard to breathe.
Right.
Their heart is palpitating. Some people pass out. Some people are rushed to the hospital. Some people feel like they're literally dead.
Yeah.
It's an excruciating experience. And so to engage yourself in something that could cause that level of pain, I think most people are completely unaware. And then they don't know about the recovery process. They think, listen, I said I'm sorry.
Right.
Shouldn't that be enough?
That's the piece. And I think that's where things really fall apart, because after you learn, if you get into a process, if you go to counseling, after you learn the effects, I mean, we do a video where we show the Hiroshima bomb blowing up a city and it's in ruins. And that's exactly how you feel after the discovery of an affair. But then if your spouse is insensitive, they try to race you to recovery. And there is no racing to recovery. Everybody recovers at their own pace. And that's where there's a whole miss on that. I want to go to the next comment here, Hassani. It's my cousin Yvette. She says, I wasn't a married where my husband...
I think I was in a marriage.
Oh, I was in a marriage when my husband cheated from day one. Because of it, I didn't trust. He never stopped. Oh, I never stopped being a wife to my current husband, but I am not emotionally connected. I needed you to rewrite that, Yvette. What do I do to become emotionally connected? Okay, now that's a good one. I mean, the emotional disconnect, that is something that I think comes from much earlier than necessarily the marriage. I think that's something that we can also bring into relationships, but obviously after you've experienced hurt from your last spouse or whatever your experiences were, you do bring that baggage with you. There are lots of things that you can do to begin to rekindle those things, and it depends on what's going on for me. One of the things that I know that worked for Hassani and I was for us to just turn off everything, no sex, no connection that would be physical, and really begin to redevelop our intimacy. And that happened through holding hands, trying to talk and have pillow talk, have intimate conversations, going on dates and doing the things that we used to do in the beginning. That began to rekindle that connection, and then after that, everything else followed.
Absolutely. And let me just say this. It sounds like you may not be healed from the previous relationship. Mm-hmm. So there's some people who have had previous relationships that were toxic, and either they still have a little part of their heart where they care for that person, where they love that person, or there's a part of their heart where they hate and despise and have vitriol for that person, or deep pain every time that person's name comes up. And so if that's the case, then that means there's a portion of your heart that is still emotionally connected to your past, even if it's not a positive emotion. And whatever portion of your heart is still connected to your past, you can't give all of your heart to your current husband. So it's in addition to trying to create some type of connection with your spouse, you have to go through a healing process, a detox, with your ex to release that pain and to become whole from that situation so that you can give your all, heart, body, mind, soul, spirit to your current partner.
Absolutely. And that goes for anything else that you're anchored to in your past that's keeping you withholding. Because oftentimes we walk into relationships and we are withholding. You know, we've all probably been with somebody prior to, dated somebody prior to that hurt us before we found our true love, right? That's the stuff that we bring into the relationship that causes us to have our walls up. It causes us to be guarded, and that's the stuff that he's talking about that needs to be healed so that you can become truly intimate.
Absolutely.
We got another comment here. Let's see. Kim Clark. She says, I cheated on my boyfriend, now husband, and when he proposed to me, I told him I cheated and that I wanted to tell him before he made that commitment to me. It's been 2 years. How do I help him? So it sounds like it's been 2 years before now, and he's still not recovered. He's still not forgiven.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
counseling.
That's,
period.
Right?
You cannot do it on your own. I mean, that is a huge blow. And men and women deal with pain differently. We just do. And he needs to get in a support group. He needs to get around people who have gone through this and have overcome it. He needs to go to individual counseling as well as you. You need to go to couples counseling. Guys, stop DIYing this.
Please.
You cannot just read a book. You can't just watch a video and think that through a couple conversations, everything's just going to work out. You gotta get help. Reach out to us. Let's talk through this and figure out how we can turn this situation around. Guys, we got one more segment. Allow your questions to continue to come in. They're great questions. We want to meet you where you're at. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We'll be right back.
Couples Academy is expanding its team to meet the growing demand of people in need of help around the world. So if you're a trained, licensed, or certified expert in marriage enrichment, infidelity recovery, sex therapy, life coaching, cognitive behavioral therapy, divorce mediation, financial coaching, or family therapy, contact us today.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, we're back. Welcome to the Couples Academy show. We got a couple more questions. I'm saying. Rick says, how can I convince my spouse that I do not expect her to forgive me or love me? I'm asking.
I'm asking. In other words, I'm not demanding that you do this after the affair, I would assume. You're asking. I'm asking you to forgive me. I'm asking you to
I didn't read
me.
it that way.
That's how
How can I convince my spouse that I do not expect? Oh, I get it. You're right.
Because
and
that's a healthy place to be. That's a
it.
healthy place to be, in my opinion, because forgiveness is a journey, and I think oftentimes the unfaithful partner demands forgiveness way too soon. They will throw the Bible in your face. You're supposed to be a godly woman. You should forgive. Jesus forgave and all this and that. And none of us are supernatural, okay? None of us died and was raised on the third day. It is a process of recovery. For you to say that says to me that you're sensitive to this as a journey and that you are asking for her love and her forgiveness.
Yeah. And one thing I think would help, Rick, is the two of you should study forgiveness. There are some great books on forgiveness. There's a book called How Can I Forgive by Janice Abrams Springs. I would highly recommend you get that book. Also, go on YouTube, watch sermons on forgiveness. I think the more that you talk about it and the more you get it into the water and you're free flowing in your conversation about it, the easier it is to get to a place of actual healing. Because the reality is we attach all types of meanings and definitions and interpretations and biases and experiences to forgiveness and rob it of what it really is. And the more stuff we attach to it, the more impossible it seems to actually do. And most of our interpretations and understanding of it are absolutely wrong, and that's why people struggle so much. So become a student of the very thing that you're trying to experience in your life, and it will help you significantly.
Boom. Let's go to Jerome. He says, why does she ask for all these new things after the affair, but didn't ask for any of it before the affair? New conversation, new task, energy is on another level now.
That's a great question. Well, when an affair happens, what happens is it shines a light on everything that was wrong in the relationship in the first place. And a person has reached a place where like, you know what, I don't have to put up with this anymore. I want more. I've been dealing with it. I've been accommodating it. But at this point, we need to do something different. We need to do something right. So what wasn't working needs to work. Right. What was okay needs to be better. Yeah. What was good needs to be even, you know. So
Here, let me give an analogy.
Please.
Do y'all 9/11 ushered in a new level of security when it comes to flying. Do you remember that? How we were all perturbed? How you couldn't bring nothing to drink, you couldn't bring nothing to eat, no liquids over, I think, 2 ounces or something like that. Like it was, and it probably still is to that level. I mean, I think they've lessened a little bit, but take off all your shoes, your clothes, your everything, get naked. Because after the breach of security, now we have to inspect every level. So now your spouse is wanting to inspect every level of your life, every area of your life. Where are you going? How long you been there? I need to communicate. I need to talk. I need to know what's going on. Because for so long, my head was in the clouds. A lot of people feel blindsided, like they had no clue that something was wrong, and then boom, they were hit with this affair. So they feel like, were my eyes closed? Now I'm going to be looking for everything. And that's what happens. It's like in those movies when the security walls would come down when somebody's trying to rob a diamond out of the museum, right? They trip the wire and all the walls drop down. Now you're going to have to really be careful and figure out how to maneuver around your wife. You need to operate with full and total transparency. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's so much easier just to do that. It's way harder to battle this person and try to fight for your privacy, which you no longer have the right to, because when you had the privacy, you didn't do the right thing with it.
Can I get a
knowledge bomb?
Knowledge bomb, because that right there.
And we should be operating in transparency anyway. What are we hiding from each other? Thank you for that.
Wow.
Next question.
Okay. Cat Ben, what if the person is a serial cheater and lies throughout the whole marriage? You have a problem on your hands. And let me just say, we have worked with couples who have been in that same situation. And forgive me for sounding as if we're always encouraging you to go to counseling, but it is the thing you have to do. What will cause it to stop? What's going to motivate a person to no longer do what they've spent their entire marriage doing if you don't get the right help? I heard somebody say to me the other day, because I said, you know, wow, you've been through all of this similar situation. I said, well, have you gone to counseling? Yeah, well, we tried counseling 12 years ago and it didn't work. So wait a minute. You refuse to do today because of something that happened 12 years ago? You went to the wrong person. It didn't work out. Maybe you two weren't in the right place. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to do something today, because all you're doing is signing up for more of the same. And when you come to us for counseling, understand the goal is not to save the marriage. I need you guys to understand that. That is not our goal for you. That would be a low level goal. You're already married and you're miserable in your marriage. How many people have stayed together for years and are miserable? That's not the goal. The goal is to have a new marriage, to find fulfillment within the relationship. We don't want you doing the same thing, because doing the same thing gets you more of the same thing. We want to break things up. We want to set a new foundation. We want to help you become explorers, right? To have something new and different. And that's why we focus on the individual recovery process. Now, obviously, if this person's been unfaithful since the beginning of the marriage, there's some deep dive issues within that person that probably have nothing to do with you. That doesn't mean that you didn't contribute to the demise of the relationship, but the reasons for his affairs probably go a lot deeper and extend prior to you. And through that individual healing work and that marital restoration work, you can be in a better place. This is why we say the key to your marital restoration is your personal transformation. And there's some personal healing that needs to take place in this situation.
Absolutely. I can't even add to that. You can drop a knowledge.
Man, guys.
There's lots of people saying amens and yes and thank you and all of that. And we acknowledge you guys. We see you, but we are out of time.
Oh, man.
I can't believe how, you know what, Fridays go by so fast.
They do.
But that's why you want to tune in every Monday. We're here at 9:30. And then follow us throughout the week so that you know what we're talking about and you can chime in and get all your questions answered. Okay, guys?
Guys, I hope you enjoyed this series. We were talking about Why I Cheated, part 4, 4-part series. And next week, we're going to start Why I Stayed.
Boom!
A 4-part series. You do not want to miss it. So click that reminder, subscribe, share, bring the community in so we can have a deep dive conversation. Have an amazing weekend. Listen, Sunday is Father's Day. What you gonna do for your father? What you gonna do for your husband?
What you gonna do,
Let's get it. I want stories on Monday morning, so let's make that thing happen. Love you guys, and we will see you on Monday.
Bye.